The lab was quiet, except for the soft hum of machines and the faint clicking of keyboards. Outside, the night stretched endlessly, but inside, a small group of scientists worked with focused eyes. The glow from their monitors was the only light in the dark room. Among them, Dr. Ayaan stood near a strange metal box, watching it carefully. The box held something no one had ever seen before, a glowing new element discovered deep underground during a recent excavation. This element was different. It pulsed softly with light, almost as if it were alive. The scientists had tried every machine in the lab to analyze it, but nothing worked. Spectrometers, X-rays, radiation detectors, all failed to explain what the glowing material was made of. It was as if the element did not belong to the natural world they knew. Dr. Ayaan was the lead scientist on the project. Tall and calm, with sharp eyes that missed nothing, he was fascinated and confused at the same time. He reached out carefully to touch the smooth surface of the element through the glass container. Nothing happened. He pulled his hand back slowly. Then, something strange caught his attention. The glow inside the box brightened, but only where his hand had been. "Try touching it directly," whispered a junior scientist, her voice trembling with excitement. Ayaan looked at the others, then slowly lifted the glass cover. The air felt warmer, near the element. He reached out and gently placed his hand on the glowing surface. Almost immediately, the light flared, bright and warm. It changed color, too, shifting from blue to a soft golden hue, like sunlight through a window. His heart raced as he felt a strange sensation, like a pulse or message, traveling from the element into his skin. Suddenly, his vision blurred. The lab around him melted away into darkness. Then images flashed quickly in his mind. Strange landscapes with purple skies, vast cities made of shining metal, and creatures with glowing eyes staring at him. A voice whispered softly inside his head, "Help us!" Ayaan gasped and pulled his hand back. The element's glow dimmed again. The others looked at him in shock, their faces pale. "What did you see?" one asked. I don't know," Ayaan replied, still trying to catch his breath. It was like a message, a warning maybe. No one spoke for a moment. The machines remained silent, unable to analyze the mysterious element. Ayaan's mind raced with questions. What was this thing? Why did it react only to human touch? And who had sent that strange message? Suddenly, a crackling sound came from the lab's radio. The team froze. Through the static, a clear voice spoke softly but firmly. "You shouldn't have found it." The room went cold. Everyone looked around nervously. The radio fell silent. "Did you hear that?" whispered the junior scientist. Ayaan nodded slowly. His eyes never left the glowing element on the table. The adventure they had begun was much bigger than science or discovery. It was something mysterious and dangerous, and it had only just started. The morning light filtered weakly through the lab windows, but inside, the atmosphere was heavy. Dr. Ayaan sat quietly at his desk, staring at the notes he had scribbled late last night. The vision he had seen was still vivid in his mind. Flashes of a strange world filled with colors he could barely describe, buildings that seemed to float, and beings that looked both familiar and alien. And above it all, a clear, urgent message echoed, "Save us." He rubbed his temples, trying to make sense of it all. Was it real, or just a trick of his tired mind? The message seemed too important to ignore. The weight of it pressed down on him as memories stirred from the past. His sister, Zara, had disappeared years ago without a trace. At the time, it had broken his family, and he had never stopped wondering what happened to her. Was it possible that the vision and this strange element were connected to her fate? Ayaan stood and walked to the glowing element resting safely in its container. He reached out slowly, almost afraid. The light pulsed gently under his touch, responding as if it remembered him. The rest of the team watched with growing curiosity and worry. This element was no ordinary discovery. It felt alive, as if it was trying to communicate. The scientists decided to test how the element reacted to each person. One by one, they placed their hands lightly on the surface. Each time, the glow changed colors, sometimes blue, sometimes red, other times a deep green. It even seemed to match their moods. When someone smiled, the element shone warmly. When someone frowned, it dimmed or flickered nervously. Ayaan noticed the element pulsed strongest with him. There was a connection he couldn't explain, but it felt personal, almost like it knew him. His thoughts returned to Zara. Had she ever touched something like this before she vanished? Was this element part of a bigger story he'd yet to uncover? While the team was engrossed in their experiments, the lab's AI assistant, a sleek robot designed to help with analysis, quietly moved forward. Its smooth metal fingers reached toward the element. The moment it touched the glowing surface, everything changed. The light inside the container exploded into a wild storm of colors. The room shook slightly, alarms began to beep, and the element reacted violently, pulsing erratically. The AI robot jerked back as if shocked. Sparks flew from its fingertips. The scientists scrambled, stunned by the sudden outburst. "What's happening?" one shouted, eyes wide in fear. Ayaan's heart pounded. The element, which had been calm and curious moments ago, now seemed angry, almost alive with rage. Why would it react this way to a machine, but not to humans? What did that mean? As the chaos settled, the team noticed something even more astonishing. The glowing surface of the element had cracked open, splitting slowly down the middle like an egg. From the crack emerged a tiny core, bright and glowing fiercely. It hovered above the cracked shell, shining with a light that seemed to breathe. Everyone fell silent, staring at the tiny glowing core. It was unlike anything they had seen before. Smaller than marble, yet filled with an energy that pulsed with life. Ayaan felt a strange pull toward it, a mix of fear and hope. Was this the key to understanding the element's secret? And what would happen next? The mystery was deepening, and the answer seemed closer than ever, but still out of reach. The glowing core floated silently in the center of the lab, its light pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Dr. Ayaan sat close, mesmerized by the tiny orb's strange beauty and power. Suddenly, a voice echoed clearly inside his mind, calm but urgent. "We are alive. Help us." Ayaan froze, his breath catching. The message was not spoken aloud, but it was as clear as if someone had whispered it beside him. His heart raced. Was the core really alive? Could it think? Feel? He looked around at his team. Their eyes were wide, full of awe and fear. The impossible had become real. Questions swirled in the room. Was this glowing element a new form of life? If so, what did it want? Could they protect it? Or was it too dangerous? The team faced a dilemma that went beyond science, one of ethics and responsibility. Were they the guardians of something precious or the keepers of a deadly secret? As the days passed, strange things began to happen. The lab equipment started malfunctioning in odd ways. Computers crashed without reason. Lights flickered and alarms beeped randomly. One of the junior scientists, Samira, suddenly fell ill with a high fever and weakness. Doctors could not explain the cause. Some whispered it was connected to the element, but no one dared say it out loud. Ayaan watched the glowing core closely. Its light, once bright and steady, now dimmed slowly, as if it were growing weaker. Time was running out. The core seemed to need something, energy, warmth, or maybe understanding, before it faded completely. The pressure to act grew heavier with each passing hour. The lab was tense. The team worked harder, trying to find answers and keep the core alive. Yet, they also knew that this discovery could not remain secret for long. One evening, as the core's glow flickered faintly, the lab's main door burst open. Uniformed government agents flooded the room, their faces serious and unyielding. "We have orders to seize the element immediately," their leader announced, eyes scanning the team. "This is a matter of national security." Panic rippled through the group. Ayaan stood firm, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The glowing core pulsed weakly, as if begging for help. The clock was ticking faster than ever. The government agents filled the lab with a cold presence, their sharp eyes scanning every corner. Dr. Ayaan felt the tension rise in the room. The glowing core, now faint but still alive, seemed fragile under their harsh lights. The team exchanged quick, desperate glances. They knew the element was too important to fall into the wrong hands, especially those who might want to use it as a weapon. Ayaan took a deep breath and spoke quietly but firmly. "We cannot let them take it. Not like this." The others nodded in agreement. They had to protect the core, to hide it where no one could find it. As they prepared to move the glowing orb, Ayaan's mind drifted to a memory of his sister, Zara. She had always been brave, standing up for what was right even when it was dangerous. When she disappeared years ago, he promised himself he would continue her fight for justice. That promise now gave him strength. The team moved quickly and carefully. They placed the glowing core into a special container designed to keep it safe. The element pulsed softly, almost like it understood. Ayaan held the container tightly, feeling its warmth. Suddenly, the agents realized what was happening and gave chase. The team fled through dark corridors and hidden exits. Their footsteps echoed in the empty hallways as alarms blared behind them. Fear and adrenaline pushed them forward. As Ayaan ran, the glowing core inside the container began to react. It pulsed faster, its light growing wild and bright. It seemed to sense Ayaan's fear, matching his heartbeat with its glowing rhythm. The connection between them felt deeper than before, almost like the element was alive in a new way. They burst out of the lab into the cool night air, the sound of agents shouting close behind. The chase was on. The team scattered into the shadows, each member moving as fast as they could. Ayaan kept the glowing container close, watching in amazement as the light inside shifted and changed. Then, something incredible happened. The element began to change shape. The smooth glowing orb cracked and stretched, shifting into a form that was no longer just a simple core. It grew limbs, or something like limbs, delicate and shimmering. Its light flickered like a living creature awakening. Ayaan stopped in his tracks, breathless and shocked. The element was becoming something else, something new and unknown. Behind him, the sounds of pursuit grew louder. The night held its breath as the chase and the mystery both raced forward, unstoppable and full of danger. The small, glowing creature pulsed softly in the quiet room where the team had gathered after their escape. The once simple element had transformed into something alive, something that breathed with light and emotion. Dr. Ayaan and his team sat close, watching as it moved gently, its delicate limbs reaching out as if sensing the world around it. They began to study the creature more closely. Days of research brought shocking revelations. This was no ordinary element. It was a seed, a living entity sent from a distant alien civilization, designed to find help when danger approached. The glowing being had traveled across space and time, carrying a message of warning and hope. Ayaan listened carefully as the creature responded to their touch. It could bond with humans not only physically, but emotionally too. Each person who touched it felt a connection deep in their heart, as if the creature was reaching into their memories, their feelings, their very soul. The element's light changed with every emotion, bright and warm for love, dark and cold for fear. As Ayaan held the creature in his hands one evening, memories flooded his mind. He saw his sister Zara again, standing by the old oak tree in their childhood home, speaking quietly to something invisible. She had always been different, sensitive to things others could not see. Just before she vanished, she had whispered about a presence, a light that needed help. Now, Ayaan understood that Zara's disappearance was connected to this alien seed, and that she had tried to protect it long before he ever found the element. The glowing creature pulsed stronger, as if trying to share more. Suddenly, a vision filled Ayaan's mind, a cosmic disaster, a dark wave moving through space, threatening to destroy Earth and many other worlds. The creature's message was clear. It had come to warn humanity and ask for help to stop this disaster before it was too late. The team listened in silence, the weight of the warning pressing down on them. The fate of their world was now tied to this fragile, glowing seed. But the group was not united. Among them, a dark secret brewed. One team member, quietly watching from the shadows, saw only the value of the creature as a weapon or a source of power. Behind closed doors, they contacted unknown buyers, ready to sell the element for a high price. The betrayal was real and dangerous, threatening to destroy everything the team had fought for. As the glowing creature reached out to Ayaan with trust and hope, the team's fragile unity shattered, setting the stage for a struggle that would decide the future of both the element and the Earth itself. The warning echoed in their minds like a storm. Only 48 hours remained before the cosmic disaster would reach Earth. Time was slipping away fast, and the team knew they had no choice but to act immediately. But their unity had cracked under pressure. The betrayal had sown distrust, and now the team was divided. One group, led by Dr. Ayaan, focused on protecting the glowing element. They understood that it held the key to saving the planet, but it was fragile and unpredictable. The other group took the dangerous mission of warning the world, governments, scientists, and the public. They needed help. But how could they convince anyone about a glowing alien seed and an invisible threat from space? As Ayaan and his group guarded the element, they noticed its power growing. The small creature pulsed with stronger light and strange energy, almost like it was preparing for something big. But with power came instability. Sometimes it flickered wildly, shaking the room with waves of heat or cold. It was as if the element was struggling to hold itself together, fighting forces they could not understand. In quiet moments, the team shared stories and fears. Ayaan thought about his sister Zara and the pain of losing her. Other members confessed mistakes and regrets from their past. Those emotional moments helped them heal and reconnect. Despite the danger, they found strength in each other, hope born from shared struggles. The clock ticked relentlessly. The disaster's approach was invisible but real. The sky seemed darker, and strange cosmic rays brushed the atmosphere. The team worked feverishly, preparing for the unknown. Then, something incredible happened. The glowing element's light flared bright, filling the room with a warm glow. It began to pulse faster, and a strange energy filled the air. Suddenly, the element opened a portal, a swirling gateway of light and color, shimmering and moving like a living thing. Everyone stared in awe and fear. The portal was a door to somewhere else. But where? Ayaan felt the weight of the moment. Their journey was far from over. The future lay beyond the portal, in a place unknown and full of danger. With no time to hesitate, the team faced their next challenge, stepping to the portal into the unknown, chasing hope against a ticking clock that could not be stopped. The swirling portal shimmered before Dr. Ayaan and his team like a window to another world. The soft hum of energy filled the air, pulling them forward. Taking a deep breath, Ayaan stepped through, the glowing element safely held in his hands. Behind him, the others followed, hearts pounding with a mix of fear and hope. On the other side, the world was unlike anything they had ever seen. The sky was a deep violet, streaked with stars and strange constellations. Towering structures of crystal and metal rose in the ground, glowing softly with the same light as the element. The air hummed with energy and life. They had arrived at the alien civilization, the place where the glowing seed had come from. The team looked around in wonder and awe, realizing the true scale of the journey ahead. This was not just a mission to save Earth, but a connection to an entire world and its people. As Ayaan walked through the alien city, a sudden vision stopped him cold. Before his eyes appeared a figure, familiar yet different. It was his sister, Zara. She was alive but changed. Her eyes glowed with the same light as the element, and her voice was soft but strong. "Ayaan," she said, reaching out to him. "I've been waiting for you. This is why I disappeared, to protect the seed and prepare for this moment." Tears welled in Ayaan's eyes as he embraced her, the years of pain and loss melting away. Zara explained how the alien civilization had sent the seed to find help because a cosmic disaster was coming, one that threatened all worlds connected by this light. Together, the team and the aliens worked to stop the disaster. They used the glowing element's power, combining it with alien technology and ancient knowledge. It was a race against time, but their efforts brought hope. Just as they believed the threat was ending, a sudden flash lit the sky back on Earth. A new element had appeared, glowing even brighter than the first. The team's eyes widened in shock. The story was not over. The future held new mysteries, new dangers, and new beginnings. As Ayaan looked back at the portal, he faced the hardest choice of all, to stay in this new world or return home to protect the one he loved. The adventure was far from finished. It had only just begun.